When you were a kid, did you want to be a hero? I know I did. I blame Power Rangers and Spider-Man, mostly. I'm out use a number, and today, we're looking at Boku no Hero Academia. In the world of Boku no Hero Academia, almost everyone is born with a quirk of some kind, a special ability or superpower. This has made being a superhero a totally valid career choice, to the point that there are schools with courses dedicated to teaching the craft. Our protagonist, Izuku Midoriya, dreams of becoming a hero. It's what drives him. It's a bit of a healthy obsession. He has notebooks filled with hero analysis and thinks about it constantly. But here's the thing. He has no quirk, no special powers, and because of that, everyone in his life doubts that he can do it, or outright mocks and bullies him. Deku, as his bully calls him, I'm not trying to be mean, I just want you to know that's who it is when the subs pop up, and it's not always bullying because of plot reasons, and just, whatever. Deku especially idolizes a hero called All Might, the all-powerful, invincible symbol of peace. One day, Izuku is assaulted by a villain and saved by none other than All Might, and everything past that is something I don't want to spoil with any specifics. It's something better experience for yourself. This show is an incredible experience. I have never gotten invested in something so quickly, and I don't mean on a conceptual level. Concepts and their potential interest me all the time. I mean I was personally invested in Izuku as a character, who he was, his struggles, and his dreams, minutes after being introduced to him, before the first episode had finished. And this is no accident. Every aspect of this show is designed to elicit this reaction. Characters' expressions, the voice acting, the overdramatic animation, the timing of flashbacks, and the music, especially the music, all come together to draw you into the moment, to feel what the characters are feeling and experience their struggles alongside them. Every time the show goes for drama or tension of any description, it nails it completely. This one has brought me to tears a lot. Though I will say that if it doesn't hook you emotionally, especially in the first few episodes, it'll probably come off as somewhat slow-paced. There's a lot of build-up to everything in the attempt to elicit these emotional reactions. It's what made this show stand out to me, but I could see it turning some people away. This also goes a long way to making it feel like the characters really earn their accomplishments. I will say that eventually Izuku does get a quirk, which I'm only pointing out because I don't want you to think this show will be about someone without powers outwitting people who do have powers. The battles do tend to be pretty tactical, but that's not the reason why. Rest assured, it feels earned instead of simply given, and even once he has it, he's not a master of it because he hasn't had it for his whole life like most of the other people. And of course, there are characters aside from Izuku. Almost all of these characters are immediately striking as cool, cute, silly, or otherwise unique, and they have distinguishing character designs that stand out, which is great for immediately establishing a large group of, say, I don't know, students that all have their own special powers, and later, costumes. As the series goes on, some of these characters are focused on in more detail, showing more layers of who they are and what drives them, and eventually how they grow. Again, this plays on the show's strengths of making you really care about what's happening to these characters, just like it does with Izuku. In the first season, this is mostly seen with All Might, as we discover that maybe the Superman of this world isn't quite as invincible as he appears, and Izuku's bully and eventual rival, Katsuki Bakugo. There's that layers and growth thing. Thus far, Season 2 seems to be expanding this to other characters as well, which is to be expected. So technically, this is an anime that mostly takes place in high school, but calling it a high school anime doesn't seem very accurate. The focus is almost entirely on training to be a hero. Any tests are strictly related to that and consistently have more to do with combat than with studying something. This does mean that a lot of the action is safe for the characters involved. Mock battles instead of duels to the death, at least most of the time. This didn't lessen my emotional investment in the show and actually did quite a lot to set it apart from most other shonen action anime. And that action is pretty great. Visually, Studio Bones is among the best at making people beating the shit out of each other look breathtakingly intense and powerful, and the writing makes most of the fights very tactical, whether that's quirks being used in clever and interesting ways, or Izuku being forced to work around the restrictions his unfamiliarity with his quirk places on him. The cleverness in writing applies to the challenges that aren't focused on combat too, making those engaging as well. The bright colors, the core concept, and All Might's over-the-top hero of justice and very truth, justice, and the American way feel are clearly from the influences of superhero comics from the likes of Marvel and DC. It's interesting to see something like that from a different cultural perspective, and it definitely gives the show a bit of a unique flavor among anime. I don't really have much else to say. It's a rather simple and straightforward story, but it's one that's produced and executed incredibly well. Very few shows grip me from beginning to end like this one does. I cannot recommend it more. Boku no Hero Academia has 13 episodes in its first season, with a second season airing now. I was totally into it by the end of the first episode, but if you're more on the fence, give it 4 episodes. That said, this has been I Won't Use a Number. If you like this video, you can subscribe and maybe share it with your friends. If you're willing and able, please consider supporting me through Patreon. Keep loving what you love, and I'll see you next time with something else.